I'm Vin.
I'm Sori.
If you would like to get your song reviewed, dear listener, there's a filthy capitalist option. As Sori says, 125 gets you straight to the head of the line. You don't have to be a part of the alliance. You don't have to be part of the group.
Wait a minute.
And the biggest thing is you don't have to wait. You hop, skip, and jump right in front of everybody. 125 gets you there. You do that 3 times, and then get mashed down to the $75 rate for perpetuity.
Yes!
Also, there is a band review option. So if you've got a band and you're trying to get your band some exposure, hit me up at vinsori@gmail.com, and I'll show you the details about how to pull that off.
You can also jump on Patreon, and there is a option on the tiers to be able to get your band reviewed. Yep. Obviously, we can't lie to you, so we can't guarantee a positive review. Get what you get.
It's just rubbish.
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 That's British for garbage.
My favorite is a community option. $1 at the gate gets you in at Patreon. You get to join an alliance. The alliance joins their points together, and that helps determine what songs that we do.
The alliances hang out on Discord.
Message me on Patreon to get the link.
And they do all kinds of other cool things. They do Minecraft, Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah. It's really a community within the community. Anybody can go on the village, facebook.com/Vin and Sori. There's 160,000+ people on the channel. What's cool about the Discord is that it offers a real opportunity for community connection, friendship, that type of thing.
And it's on Discord, so if you're not a Facebook person, it's for you.
You start off at $1.
Right.
Plus you get exclusives. Sori and I are working on a song. So the first 15 seconds of that was on Patreon. Also, at $15 tier and above, when we actually debut the video, they're going to be there live with us. There you are, dear listener. Merch indeed.
And a child shall lead them. You guys, 100% Finnish stream here. Silver Lake by Esa Holopainen. It's featuring Vesa, Matti. Well, something.
Okay.
You know what I should have done? I should have had Kai do bites for us that said the names of the song. I would have just said boop, hit play. Alrighty then. Here's my DJ stream. This is Kai speaking, and it's all in Finnish. I hope the villagers and you two are ready for 100% Finnish stream. It did take a few years for me to get into metal that was sang in my mother tongue. It just didn't work for me, but now I've learned to appreciate Finnish metal lyrics. It's good that a small language uses its own language. I hope that the translations do honor the original Finnish lyrics. A couple I've translated by myself, Makoma and Vermilla songs he translated himself, with help from a fellow Finn villager. Misery Biz, shout out to him. These are official videos, so I don't know how it will go with copyright stuff. No need to show to the public, but it would be nice if you'd watch them. But you're free to pick your own videos with the songs. So whatever you want to do there. Silver Lake is the first one. So obviously the stream needed some connection to Amorphous. Esa Holopainen is the founding member and the lead guitarist of the Amorphous. 2020, he released a solo album. 77 years old, Vesa Matti Loiri is a legendary actor, comedian, musician, and interpreter. In this song, he recites a poem called Alliteration by Eino Leino, a Finnish poet and journalist that passed away in 1926, and journalist who is considered one of the pioneers of Finnish poetry and a national poet of Finland. His poems combine modern and Finnish folk elements. Much of his work is in the style of the Kalevala. I don't know. I always made that up when I was reading it. And folk songs in general. Nature, love, and despair are frequent themes in Leono's work. He is believed and widely read in Finland today. So here we go.
He's believed? Beloved.
Did I say believed?
Yeah. He's beloved.
Sorry, guys. He's beloved.
Sure, people believe that he wrote stuff, but he's also beloved. Okay, here we go, guys. First song, let's do it.
Hiljaisuuden mustan yössä Pohjolan ajan alussa. Aaltosi ulappa aava yli suuren Suomenmaa. Suolaisten sumujen yössä vyöryi synkät aallot vaan. Sylitellen, sylkytellen, halki aikojen halaten. Jäitä hyisten, huippuvuorten, päitä lauttojen lumisten. Aallot kulki tuulten teitä, aurinko ajan latua. Hiljaa hiipi päivän pitkät, hiljaa hiipi pitkät yöt. Päivä kotoi kuiden työt, yössä vuosisadat samosi. Vaan kun kerran päivän kaari taasen taivalle kohosi, maa oli merestä noussut, veestä manner maatunna. Ulapalle outo saari, aalloille nimetön niemi, kempämaata kylmämähän, toukoja tilittämähän.
last note.
Aallot kulki tuulten teitä, aurinko ajan latua. Hiljaa hiihti päivät pitkät, hiljaa hiipi pitkät yöt. Päivä otoi kuiden työt, yössä vuosisadat samosi.
Wow.
Jeez, man.
So there was no singing, just spoken word the entire time.
Yeah, it's almost like an introduction to Finland. It's like a spoken word.
Yeah.
Like ode to Finland. I'm gonna repost the lyrics again, and then you read them with some feeling, por favor. Holy smokes. Okay, so here's this. What did you say? This is a lead guitarist of Finland.
Widely okay.
Of Finland, of Morphus. This is like one of the
77-year-old is a legendary actor, comedian, musician, interpreter. In this song, he recites a poem. Where?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
The lead guitarist of
Yep.
Amorphous.
All right.
But it's not him who's doing the spoken word. It's
it's the older gentleman that's a Finnish poet journalist.
Matti Loiri is a legendary actor, comedian, musician, and interpreter. Who is he the one that was doing his own tattoo, basically? Type of thing?
I don't know. I would assume so, but he's reciting the work of someone else.
Wow.
Beautifully
Okay.
done.
Yeah.
Alliteration in the murky nights of 4 times. At Northland's tide start. See, some of these words.
Undulated.
Undulated? What does that even mean?
The open sea.
What does undulated
the
mean?
open sea was undulating, like this.
Like opening up to
Moving
you?
from within, basically.
Oh,
yeah.
wow. Oh. Undulated the open sea, over the vast Finn's land, in the briny mist belt, rolled mere darkling waves, hugging, spitting, throughout times embracing, ices of chilly bergs. Rim frosty floats heads, waves. See, I feel like you would be better at reading this.
I would not. Because you
Okay.
have that emotion in there. Read it with some emotion, damn it.
Well, part of it is because it doesn't rhyme, because it's in another language, then it's harder for me to like kind of flow with it. I can't find my flow. Waves went wind's ways. Sun time's tracks. Softly skied days long. Softly crept long nights. Day weaved months' work. Centuries wandered in the night. Yet as sun's arch again to the Wilkin rose, land had from sea risen, out of water earthed, a strange isle into the open ocean. Onto the waves a nameless cape, who tilled the soil, sowing the seeds. Waves went wind's ways. Sun time's tracks, softly skied days long. Softly crept long nights. Day weaved months' work. Centuries wandered in the night.
And, like, somebody said, like, was that a saxophone? I feel like there's a saxophone there. Is there a saxophone in that song?
Oh, actually, I think there was too. I didn't pick up on it because the man's voice was so It was like strong but gentle and familiar yet unfamiliar. He just had such an interesting voice.
Yeah.
To do that spoken
Yeah.
word, and I've always been a fan of spoken words.
Yeah, you have.
And even though it's not in our native tongue, so it's getting translated over. I mean, it was beautiful, even though we couldn't understand it.
Correct.
So I can't imagine hearing it in your own mother tongue and understanding.
Well,
must be
I was
crazy.
just saying, like, I wonder what that must be like to, like, know exactly what he's saying.
Mm-hmm.
And on top of that, to be able to relate exactly to what they were talking about, because you're in Finland, Like, I wonder, how come there wasn't any U.S. bands that talk about this shit? Like, we got beautiful land and all this in the U.S. Like, I was just talking to Dorian because he's obsessed with snow. I'm like, well, we were talking about Colorado. I'm like, you can go to Colorado and, there's rolling mountains in Colorado. Very, very, I mean, I've never been to Colorado, but I'm sure the scenery is wonderful.
Yeah, but maybe...
There's no American bands, like metal bands, that talk about it.
Okay, so maybe we're not familiar with them, but if there are... Okay, this is my theory. You know how you have that... remember I was telling you about that friend of mine that went to... It was like a Native American thing where you cried out for the pain of your ancestors.
Yeah.
And so you kind of felt their residual pain and you cried out for it now.
Yeah.
And so America we weren't here forever. You know what I mean? Like in Finland, they were there for a very long time. Their people resided there for a very long time. So maybe they have a certain honor and their roots dug into the land, and they have a different feel for the land than we do because, it doesn't go that deep for us.
Yeah, I don't know.
We don't have our ancestors.
I don't know if there's ancestral trauma that necessitates
No, I'm using that as an example. You have ancestral trauma. Maybe you also have ancestral understanding of love for the land.
Yeah, I don't know, man, because there's don't country stars talk about the land and The Hills
Not
of
like this.
Montana.
Not like this.
That's what I'm saying. Like, well,
Not like
I
this.
feel like only metal can get you to this level. But my point is, like, we've got pagans here, and pagans are very land-oriented, nature-oriented. It's just, I don't know. Maybe in America it's not cool to be that in love with, the geography and the topography of your land.
Maybe we've just not heard it.
Maybe somebody let me know if there's like an American, band. I don't care if they're paid. I don't care what they are. Just let me know if there's
that
an American
level of
band
description.
that doesn't owe to. Because we're a massive. That's the other thing. Is like we're such a massive landmass that you could talk about Arizona.
Yeah.
And it would be different than talking about.
Oh, yeah.
Montana would be different than talking
Maine,
about Colorado,
Florida, California.
You know what I'm saying? Like
the little sides.
Yeah, as controllers.
Alaska is still part of
nature focused
of us too.
Yeah, I don't think that's true. Patriotic American songs. My country, 'tis of thee, does speak of the land. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
My
but it's not the
country,
same.
'tis of thee, speak land of liberty.
It's talking about the land of liberty. That the focus is on liberty, not so much. I mean, the land a little bit, but not like this. This goes into rolled mere darkling waters, hugging, spitting throughout times, embracing ices of chilly bergs. Like the detail that it goes into of all the scene that surrounds you. I have never heard a song that does that with the American.
Oh, okay, so. Agalloch, Wolves in the Throne Room, Panopticon.
There's tons of it. Josh is like,
tons of it.
idiots.
Okay. Well, Josh, let me know. Direct me to it because I keep seeing these, and it's not just this band, but there's lots of these European bands, and they're just on it, man. I don't know if it's because Europe has like literally thousands of years of history, whereas America only has a couple. I don't know, but. I love this first song that kind of, Kai, was it like to kind of set the tone? Because I'm like, I heard a sax in there. The last note that the guitarist held, obviously the guitarist, I'm going to be
Brooke thinks it's a soprano saxophone.
But the last note that the guitarist held was perfect. I'm like, yo, end it right there, let it ring out. Perfect. That's one of those things, like when you're playing your instrument, like, and you find that perfect chord sequence, or you find, like, I was working on something. I mean, you guys heard the first part of it, but I was working on something yesterday while I was watching one of the worst movies on the planet of all time. Terrible movie. It's called The Last Duel. Watch it if whatever, but really terrible movie in the sense that I didn't like what I was seeing, not in the sense that
it was a bad movie. Yeah,
very well acted, whatever. But
shout out to Fally who pointed it out to us.
So I'm working on like a progression or whatever, and like you hear it in your head kind of vaguely, and you almost get frustrated with your instrument because you're like, damn it, where is it? Where is that thing that I'm hearing in my head? But he found that perfectly when he had those notes.
Yeah, he did. He did.
Yeah, it was absolutely perfect. Got the note, rang it out. And I also love the video, and I'm glad that they didn't shut down our channel.
I know. Kai, what is the Welkin Rose? Because he says, yet as sun's arch, again to the Welkin Rose, land had from sea risen. Obviously I Googled it, but it's coming up to be like a wine. And I don't know if that's, or if there's.
That's a.
What?
Yeah, go ahead.
So I'm curious to know what that was. Oops, I got to get back to the chat here. Too many friggin' tabs open.
Yeah, that's a good question. Is it like a specific kind of rose that's specific to Finland?
Yeah, or like, I don't know, maybe it is that wine. Maybe the wine is. Is Kai here?
Yeah, Kai's here.
Yeah, so I'll just pull back up the lyrics while we're waiting. Can you just keep an eye out for his response?
Yeah.
So I like the part where, like, when it was saying softly crept long nights, and there was another part where we were talking about the water. Anything that talks about the water. Okay, this I thought was interesting. So, like I read it before, hugging, spitting, times embracing, ices of chilly bergs. the analogy of the embracing, that was interesting way. And I don't know, it's difficult because it's not our native tongue, so you don't know, is that what they were trying to communicate, or is that just what got communicated because it got translated? And then actually when I'm looking at this, I'm like, man, we must miss so much because we, you know, obviously the most influential book to us is the Bible, and it was not written in English. So I wonder how much we've lost in translation. It is true.
It is true.
Yeah, especially because there's different times where you'll like show me different things, and I'm like, well, why would they have made that choice?
Yeah.
And you're like, well, the translators have a certain opinion.
Yeah.
So, I mean, obviously we have stuff that we can go back and look at individual words and it will translate the individual word, but it's nothing, I'm sure, like reading it in your actual language.
Yes. I like, though, how almost disjointed it is in English, because one of my favorite English teachers one time, she was like, you know, when she was actually introducing us to like real poetry, not like the Cat in the Hat, because we were like, this does not rhyme, and they're like, that's not what poetry is about, actually. And so like the best poems and the most world-renowned English poems do not rhyme. So like right here where he talks about that, sun times tracks softly. By the way, Kai did all the translations, right?
No, only for 2 of the songs he did.
Okay.
Vermilia and the Mokoma. So not this one.
Right there, sun times tracks, which is really brilliant because, like, literally, I was just listening to surprise, surprise, another scientist in a long form conversation about. I forgot what the name of it is. Something about something physics, but basically, he says that time doesn't exist, is what he was saying. So, what you're calling a memory is you looking backward in time at yourself, but you're actually still doing all that stuff that you were doing in the quote-unquote past. It's just that you're farther along in the loop of time than you were. Well, you're conscious that you were farther along in a loop of time than you were recently, so you're still doing all that stuff. So, like, I'm still watching Ninja Turtles and stuff as a little kid, like right now, and I'm just a little farther ahead in the loop, so that I know that I already did that. So when I look back at a memory as something that's like over and done with, he's like, no, it's not over and done with. We have no scientific proof that that's over and done with. It just means that you're more aware of this time period than the other one. Very, very interesting stuff. Really, really interesting stuff. Pretty much
but I don't
everything
like
that I've
that.
assumed is insane and crazy.
But that means that, so like whatever horrible events you've had in your life or whatever your best moments were, you're still experiencing them. Like, how the frig is anybody supposed to heal if you're like, but the past version of me is still dealing with this? You know what I mean?
Yeah, because your past version of yourself doesn't know that there's anything other than the present, because all we experience is quote eternal now. So I don't know. Unbelievable. Unbelievable stuff.
So for me, this one, it's more about, you know, the feel of the song, and the guy's voice was just very good. So this one's going to be a higher rating for me because by the time that the song finished, it almost hadn't even processed that the entire thing was a spoken word. And that's when you know you have really good spoken word, is when it becomes a piece of art and it translates as music, even though it's talking. So this one's a 9.6 for me.
I really enjoyed the video. I know that he couldn't be the only one behind this production because there was drums and stuff in it. Well, maybe he was. Maybe it's one of those things where there's an amalgamation between human and machine. But I love just him alone with his guitar. I might do something like that one of these days if I could get to, justify, probably 3 minutes of goodness like that. But I love that. I love the aesthetics. It's crazy because the lyrics were extremely colorful in the sense of it was talking about nature and all that, but then they made the video black and white, which I thought was really, really interesting. So you almost, your mind really had to kind of work double time because you were seeing something in black and white, but the lyrics were so graphic.
Yeah.
So I love that as well. Usually, I don't get to judge the official video because we don't watch official videos because whatever. But yeah. So I'm going to give this a 9.8 for May. Really, really strong. So I'm looking forward to the next ones. We got another Finnish band on the way, dear listener. Kai, what a very, very, very strong output.
Yep.
At the very freaking beginning. Holy smokes, dude. Holy smokes. And that was kind of risky, too, because it's like not English and you know what I'm saying? Like every single DJ stream that we've done for the last couple of days has been pretty crazy.
We've never done this before.
Theme. Yeah, there was a loose theme kind of yesterday. There was definitely one with the Proto Men the day before, and now we've got Finland. So there you are, dear listener. If you're squaring out in regular YouTube world, nothing can be done for you. Nothing can be done. But if you're part of the faithful and you're in the chat stream, we will see you again in about 2 seconds. Then out.
Sorry out.
Gone.